Do you guys remember how at the beginning of this current generation, Microsoft was sort of inconsistent with the way that they announced things? For me personally, I think that even things that weren't necessarily as bad as they seemed much worse just because Microsoft seemed to not be able to get out of their own way, and that was a problem that kind of stung them an entire generation. To this point, I feel like Sony has done a decent job of getting communication out about the PlayStation 5, but there's still quite a few parts where, they could do a little bit better, and now it looks like they are doing a little bit better, but it's like there's still some inconsistencies there, not nearly as bad as what Microsoft suffered through, but it is something that they should tighten up to get the message out there a little bit better, because people still don't know. There's still some unconfirmed things, but this is something that really kind of clears it up even more so, and hopefully it's a video that helps you guys understand what I'm trying to talk about as well. Hey, what's up everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews, back with another video. Thank you so much for checking it out. I appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe. I'd appreciate that as well. At the end of the day, if you want to support the channel, hey, feel free, hit that bell, all that kind of good stuff. I much appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all the support and stuff like that. Thank you. Now, being one of the main features of the Xbox Series X, and don't worry, I'll get back to what I'm talking about with the PlayStation 5 here in a second, but going back with the Xbox Series X, they're very clear. You give something a cool name, a little funky name like, Cloud Power or something like that. That's something, people kind of run with that, and I feel like that's a very smart thing to do, because if you want to go back and look at what Sony did, well, it was, when you have a slogan, greatness awaits, like people really kind of resonated with that. It was really something that people kind of stood next to and thought, hey, that's a pretty good slogan. And obviously some people took it the other way, and even I probably ran with that at one point, which was, you sure are waiting a lot, because they did take a while to really bring out a lot of the bangers, but at the end of the day you did end up getting them, and I think that is the most important thing. Now Microsoft, on the other hand, it's like they have this smart delivery and smart sense and this and that, and they name it something clever, and people go, oh, well, Xbox has this, and this. And it's like, you kind of look at yourself and you go, well, Sony has that too. It's just not called that. And I remember I was arguing with people on Twitter about it. I was like, well, isn't Smart Sense basically what we've been getting since 2016 with the PS4 Pro, right? Like the game would automatically upgrade if the developer did it. Now, people know that it's supported on the Xbox Series X. The first parties are certainly going to do it, but of course, not all third parties are going to do it. Not all third parties are going to give you a better game for free just because you bought the first game. This is something that's happened on PC for, I think, as long as I can remember, where if they ever come out with a ultimate version of something you already bought on PC, you got it for free, because they wouldn't fly for that kind of stuff. Now, when it comes to Xbox and PlayStation on these matters, we have to kind of keep in mind that Sony and Microsoft aren't going to differentiate each other that much, and especially with something like this, people go, well, smart delivery, and then you look at the smart delivery confirmed games, and it's like a very short list. It kind of reminds me of like the Play Anywhere stuff, where mostly it was Microsoft doing it and nobody else. But people go, still, it'd be nice if Sony had something like Smart Delivery, despite the fact that Sony's already confirmed that there's going to be like some enhancements and stuff like that with The Last of Us 2 or Ghost of Tsushima on the PlayStation 5, and that they're going to have over 4,000 backwards compatibility titles on the PlayStation 5. Like, people still don't believe that there's going to be backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5, which at this point is ridiculous, and that's a little bit on Sony as well with some of their miscommunication. But as far as smart delivery goes, don't ever doubt that any big third parties that do it on Xbox aren't going to also do it on PlayStation. So I'll link this article and you guys can check it out. Obviously, Marvel's Avengers is going to be a huge game. And we're getting, a lot of people are excited about it and stuff like that. For whatever reason, it's kind of gotten a lukewarm reception, I think, because probably the Marvel characters don't look like their alter egos on the big screen. So, but if you go back and you look at like the old X-Men games and the old Marvel games and stuff like that, they didn't look like them either, but they were still fun games and good games. It's just people get used to this kind of stuff. So, in a press conference released by Square Enix, they confirmed that the game will come to next generation console. And on top of that, the PlayStation 5 will support the free upgrade from the PS4 to the PlayStation 5. And it will include cross-gen progression and multiplayer. It seems like they're aiming to have those versions go live with the launch of the consoles. So that would be something cool. So if you buy the Avengers on your PlayStation 4, day one you'll have it PlayStation 5 from the looks of it, where it'll automatically upgrade to the next thing. And it's not called, I think I made a joke on Twitter that we should possibly call it smarter delivery, because it's very smart to, in my opinion, go with PlayStation 5 as your first console if you can only get one, because they're going to have great exclusives, and they're also going to do smart delivery, and they're also going to do backwards compatibility, and they're also going to have the multi-plats and stuff like that. But again, their exclusives really kind of set them apart from everything else. So it's actually been confirmed. Following up on that, the Crystal Dynamics Chief Technology Officer spoke on the PlayStation blog to also detail some additional features coming to the PlayStation 5 version. Obviously, there will be graphical and loading enhancements you'd expect, but there's actually going to be performance mode that will prioritize frame rate while targeting dynamic 4K resolution, and the graphics enhancement mode that will focus on the highest possible resolution. While it's easy to assume that this will come to the Xbox Series X as well, as of now, only the PS5 version is being specified. So, again, this just has to do with marketing, just the way that Microsoft markets this kind of stuff. It's also going to come to PlayStation 5. This will obviously come to Xbox Series X as well. It really just comes down to, marketing, and Square obviously is a very good friend of Sony. So, supposedly, according to the PlayStation blog, this game is going to be dynamic 4K 60 frames per second, which is cool. Again, we're past that point where we can sit there and look at something as having, dynamic resolution or whatever, and then kind of put it down. I always felt like dynamic resolution was the future. Did a video about that years ago, about how I thought that would be the future, and then, whenever we got progressively more powerful hardware, that hardware would get the most out of the dynamic resolution and stuff like that, and it looks like that's certainly come to pass and is a very good thing in my opinion. So, at the end of the day, it looks like smarter delivery, smart delivery, smartest delivery, whatever you want to call it. It's safe and well on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, and it's just another feature that both these consoles are going to carry with them and take with them everywhere. And I think that is a very, very important thing going forward, because unlike any other generation, and this is why I think that Xbox picked a really bad generation to lose, because in the past, believe it or not, and you might not even remember this, I might jog your memory a bit with this, the PlayStation 3 and the Xbox 360 didn't get big releases day and date digitally. That's hard to believe, right? But these games and these consoles were so entrenched with brick and mortar stores that they really didn't do day and date digital delivery. It came out later, as a games on demand type thing, right? It wasn't until this generation that we started getting those games day and date digitally as well as physically. So people have to kind of keep that in mind just going forward, that things change pretty rapidly in the industry, and people probably didn't think, I never thought I would be the type of person to go digital, but it's just much easier in my opinion to load up something than go grab a game off the shelf and put it in and then have to do it that way. It's much easier to do that, and it's never been more noticeable than lately. I was trying to show off some PSVR to some people, and I have a big contingent of PSVR games physically, right? And the reason why I did that was because I bought them physically, and then that way, if I didn't like them or whatever, I could get rid of them. Or if I ever decided to get rid of my PSVR, I had to have games to give with it. Obviously, if you have digital games, you can't necessarily do that. But it's very interesting to sort of see how it comes around to one side or the other. But I'm very pleased with the way things are going, and I firmly believe in options. I just think that if you're always going to be about options, you should be about options on everything. And that's really the best way that I can put it, and hopefully, these companies will have the exclusives that are going to really kind of separate one platform for the other. Because let's be honest, the little bit of power difference isn't going to do it. The price, there's probably, between the SKUs isn't going to do it. It's the exclusive games and things like that, because both of them are going to offer largely the same stuff. And so hopefully we'll have to be able to see that in the near future as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what both these companies have to offer. Again, we've seen the first punch thrown by Sony, the Horizons and the Spider-Mans and the Ratchet and Clanks and all that kind of great stuff. And then when you look over at Microsoft, July is supposed to be a pretty big showcase of what they're going to be offering to start off with next generation. Very exciting stuff, but don't kid yourself into thinking that one of these features smart delivery is going to be exclusive to one console over the other. Even the solid-state drive isn't an exclusive feature to PlayStation 5. Theirs just happens to be much better. That's just the way some of these things work sometimes. But at the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. Thank you so much for spending time with me on another video. I appreciate it. Pat yourselves on the back. I know. I suck. What can I do? Anyway, rack 'em up. Have a great day. Crapgamer, out.
Unscripted.